From the rough streets of Lafayette, Louisiana, to the brightest lights of the UFC, Dustin "the Diamond" Poirier has proven that greatness isn't given, it's earned through blood, sweat, and unbreakable will. A fighter forged by hardship and defined by heart, Poirier's journey isn't just about knockouts and victories, it's about resilience. From early defeats to legendary wars against names like McGregor, Gaethje, and Holloway, every battle has carved his spirit sharper than ever before. He's been counted out, beaten down, and doubted, but every time, the diamond shines brighter under pressure. This is the story of a man who refused to quit. This is the rise, the struggle, and the legacy of Dustin Poirier, the diamond of the UFC. Before the sold-out arenas and main event spotlights, Dustin Poirier's journey began in the small gyms of Louisiana, fueled by nothing but hunger and heart. Growing up in Lafayette, Dustin found in fighting something deeper than competition. It was a way out, a way to build purpose and identity through struggle. He turned professional in 2009, fighting on the regional circuit, where his raw aggression and relentless pace quickly made him a name to remember. His early performances caught the attention of the UFC, and soon the Diamond would step onto the world stage. In 2011, Dustin made his UFC debut against Josh Grispi, a fight that would instantly showcase his potential. Despite being the underdog, Poirier dominated the bout, using his striking, ground control, and sheer determination to secure a unanimous decision victory. It was a statement, a signal that a new force had arrived in the featherweight division. As he climbed the ranks, Dustin went toe-to-toe with future legends like Chan Sung-Young, the Korean Zombie, and Cub Swanson. These early battles tested his resilience and exposed the cracks that would later forge his character. Each win built momentum, each loss taught humility. Through those wars, Poirier began to realize that fighting wasn't just about power or skill, it was about discipline, patience, and emotional control. He was learning how to transform pain into progress, a theme that would define his entire career. After years of grueling weight cuts and wars in the featherweight division, Dustin Poirier made one of the most important decisions of his career: to move up to lightweight. The cut to 145 pounds had drained his body and his performance, but more than that, it had started to break his spirit. Dustin needed a change, not just physically, but mentally. His lightweight debut came in 2015 against Carlos Diego Ferreira, and the difference was undeniable. Poirier looked faster, sharper, and freer than ever before. He unleashed his striking with precision and confidence, scoring a stunning first-round knockout. The message was clear: the Diamond had been reborn. From that moment, Dustin began carving his legacy in the most dangerous division in MMA. He went on a relentless tear through the ranks, defeating elite fighters like Joseph Duffy, Bobby Green, Jim Miller, and Anthony Pettis. Each fight was a test of endurance, each victory a lesson in patience. But it wasn't until his wars with Justin Gaethje and Eddie Alvarez that the world truly understood who Dustin Poirier was. Those fights were chaos, raw, violent, and unforgettable. While other fighters might break under that kind of pressure, Poirier thrived in it. He walked through fire and came out sharper, harder, like a true diamond under pressure. Every punch he threw wasn't just an attack, it was a declaration: I belong here. By 2019, Dustin Poirier had fought his way to the top, earning an interim lightweight title shot against the ever-durable Max Holloway. And that night, after 5 grueling rounds, he finally did it. Dustin Poirier became a UFC champion. The years of pain, the setbacks, the doubts all paid off. This wasn't just a victory for Poirier. It was validation for every fighter who ever refused to quit. After claiming the interim lightweight title, Dustin Poirier was no longer chasing recognition. He had earned it. But standing between him and undisputed greatness was one of the most dominant champions the UFC had ever seen, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Their clash at UFC 242 in Abu Dhabi wasn't just a fight, it was a test of heart versus perfection. Poirier entered the cage with hope, precision, and fire, determined to do what no man had done before. For a brief moment, he almost did, locking Khabib in a tight guillotine that had fans holding their breath. But Khabib, as always, was unstoppable. Poirier would lose the bout via submission, and though the defeat was painful, it didn't break him. Instead, it revealed something deeper: his resilience, his humility, and his respect for the sport. After the fight, Dustin donated his gloves for charity, proving that even in defeat, his character shined brighter than ever. But redemption was coming, and it would come in the form of one of the biggest rivalries in modern MMA, Conor McGregor. Their first encounter years earlier had ended in heartbreak for Dustin, a first-round knockout that haunted him for years. Yet time had changed him. When they met again at UFC 257, Poirier wasn't the same man. He was sharper, wiser, and far more dangerous. With a brilliant strategy of calf kicks and boxing combinations, Poirier made history, knocking out McGregor and shocking the world. It was redemption, sweet and earned. Then came the trilogy, UFC 264, another war, another test of mindset and emotion. Despite the chaotic ending due to McGregor's injury, Poirier left no doubt. He had evolved into a complete fighter, both physically and mentally. Through the highs and lows, Dustin proved what the diamond truly means, a fighter who shines brightest under the most crushing pressure. After conquering his rivalry with McGregor, Dustin Poirier stood at the edge of greatness once again. With momentum on his side, he earned another shot at the undisputed lightweight title, this time against the dangerous Charles de Bronx Oliveira at UFC 269. The world watched as two elite warriors, both molded by struggle, collided under the lights of Las Vegas. Poirier started strong, landing heavy shots and pushing the pace, but Oliveira's precision and submission mastery turned the tide. In the third round, Dustin was forced to tap, a heartbreaking loss, yet one that showed once again his grace in defeat. Even when the belt slipped away, Poirier never lost his purpose. For him, it was never just about titles. It was about testing his limits, inspiring others, and giving his all every time he stepped inside the octagon. He returned with renewed fire, taking on some of the division's toughest names: Michael Chandler, Benoit Saint-Denis, and finally the ultimate challenge, Islam Makhachev, the new king of the lightweight division. At UFC 302, Dustin Poirier faced Islam in what many called his last dance. Few gave him a chance, but, true to his nature, Poirier refused to back down. Across 5 rounds of war, he displayed incredible grit, defending takedowns, landing heavy counters, and fighting with pure heart. Though Makhachev ultimately submitted him in the final round, the crowd rose in respect. They knew they weren't just watching another fight, they were witnessing the embodiment of a warrior's spirit. And when the dust settled, Dustin stood tall, smiling through the pain, thanking his opponent, his fans, and the sport that shaped his life. Because for Dustin Poirier, legacy isn't measured in belts. It's measured in heart. In a sport defined by violence and victory, Dustin Poirier stands for something deeper, for perseverance, humility, and honor. He's proven that greatness isn't about never falling, it's about rising every single time you do. From the streets of Lafayette to the world's biggest arenas, the Diamond has faced the best, fought through pain, and never once lost his belief. Champions come and go, but warriors like Dustin Poirier, they leave something eternal. Because no matter the outcome, a diamond never breaks.